Yes. All right. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. We have a light crew today, but we'll go through the roll call and see what we've got. If we could do that, please.
Okay, Monica Isham.
Here.
Julia Lyons is excused. Grant Gerber. Mike Markran.
Here.
Mike Wuller.
Here.
Tweed Schuman. Joe Sajera sitting in for Doug Marotek. Joe. Bruce Paquette. Katie Bellinger. Okay. What's your name so I can write it? Oh, Bobby Hinkfest. Okay, I'm sorry. John Yackel. Mark Helwig. Elaine Smith. Marshall Savitsky.
Here.
Kathy McCoy. 6, 7, 8, 9. You have a quorum.
Great, thank you. If everyone can please rise if you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can I have certification of compliance with the open meetings law, please?
This meeting was noticed to the media and the public as required by Section 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes.
Thank you. And let's go ahead and look at our meeting agenda today. Did anyone have any changes that they would like to make, additions, deletions, or just overall changes? Okay. And I always forget, do we need a motion to approve the agenda?
No, if you
No.
don't change it.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Anyone for public comment? Ladies, don't race all. I'm just kidding. No public comment. Okay. Moving on. Consider approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. And I unfortunately was not able to attend the previous meeting, so I will have to abstain from this. But anybody see anything that needs to be changed?
Make a motion to approve. Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Helwig. We have a second by Mr. Spitsky. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, let's go into the jail report.
Thank you. May 2025, we see an average daily population of 55 inmates, 12 of those being females, 43 males. Average probation incarceration was at 18. Pre-sentence incarceration was at 19 and 18 sentenced inmates. We currently have 5 on electronic monitoring. We had 55 inmates a day that this report was generated. And the unemployment rate at the time of booking was at 83% for the month of May.
All right, does anybody have any questions about the jail report, comments? Okay, hearing none. Anything else, Lieutenant Waller? Okay. Okay, let's see. Do we need a motion to approve the jail report? No. Okay, then let's move on to the Justice Point report, and I think this was handed out.
It was. Becky was not able to attend today, so I printed these off and handed them out just before the meeting if you want to take a look through it. We will be looking at a couple resolutions later on in the agenda. I would like to highlight that.
Okay.
If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them. But
Will these things highlighted?
that I don't know. He stumped me.
That was that national night out that we've talked about during public safety, Mark. And I don't know why Deb's name is highlighted in red.
Oh, okay. Okay, does anybody have any questions or comments, discussion on the Justice Point report?
Isn't it underneath,
Yeah.
under community outreach, sub events, ideals, donations? What are we kind of looking for there? Does anybody know?
Where do you see that? I'm sorry.
Under deflection,
Yep.
bullet number 3.
You know what? I think I did write something down for that last time. Let's see. If I remember, I think that what we talked about, oh shoot, did I bring the wrong folder? No. I think that what we talked about what those, sober events, community outreach, I think it was more of ideas, brainstorming, things that, other people are aware about that we could kind of, discuss and maybe as a group put out more information on to the community so that people know of what, sober events are going on, what other community outreach programs there are. As far as donations, I think that what we talked about, and when I refer to the last time, I don't mean the last meeting because I wasn't here on that one, but the one before that.
Which I wasn't here, right?
Okay. I think we talked about what places were accepting donations and then also whether or not you knew of places that were looking for donations, and we would discuss those as well so that we could kind of put something together, is what my recollection was of it. But I don't know without them here, and I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
And I feel like I have the right folder, but put wrong things in it. Here we go.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. So just on that, I think that, and it comes right after the recovery court list on here, on their Justice Point report. So in recovery court, a lot of the things that we talk about are sober activities, right? We want everybody to have pro-social hours doing sober activities. So sometimes it's nice where we can refer them to specific activities. You know, this is what's going on this month, or, you know, there's National Night Out, or whatever the case may be. So I think maybe that was the same idea. Sober events, community outreach programs, places that give donations, accept donations. That's my best idea on that. Sorry, I wish I could answer your question better. I just like to fill dead air because I hate awkward silences, so that's why I talk so much. All right. Any other questions or comments, discussion? Yes.
I wanted to share too, Deb Hellquist with Sawyer County Literacy recently passed away on June 2nd. She had been with the jail doing services for probably nearly 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Sheriff Morotek and I attended her services on Monday, I believe the 9th. So I just wanted to pass that along too. So
Wow, that's so sad. I'm so sorry for everyone who's felt that loss. That's very upsetting. Well, I'm glad that you were able to attend those services. That's probably why this is on there. Is there now a need to fill the shoes of her position?
there is, we're just kind of at a standstill. Everything's so fresh yet. So
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe let us know when you've got some info.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anything else on the Justice Point report? Okay, hearing nothing, we can go ahead and move on. Health and Human Services report. Was that also printed for us?
That one's in the packet.
It is, okay. Okay, so we have nobody here for the public health report. So then what I think that is in the packet is this, let me just double check. Yeah, I think it's the substance misuse campaign information, the vaping, what would you call those? What are those called? Advertise? Billboard. Oh, thank you. I knew there was something having to do with that, and I'm like, it's shaped in a certain way. I don't know. So let's see, billboards. They look so much better in color. Those are really nice. Do we know who did the artwork for these? It's kind of cool. Where do you see them? Oh, oh, really? That is amazing. I love that. Oh, from the high school. There's one from the middle school. Wow, that's amazing. From the elementary? Oh, I don't see that one. Wow, some very talented kids. Great. Does anybody have anything that they wanted to discuss? Questions I won't be able to answer on those? No. Okay, well, I appreciate these. Hopefully we'll be able to hear some more about that next time. Okay, we can go ahead and move on. Community services updates. We have nothing on that.
Yeah.
Oh, I have resolutions next. Yeah.
Julia Lyons couldn't be here today, but she had an item on here after the minutes about the executive committee. And she asked me, they had their first meeting, and she asked me to let you know that she handed out 3 pieces of paper for every person here on the board to write down your top 3 goals that you have for the executive committee to work on. And then she asked me to collect those at the end of the meeting. So when you're sitting here thinking through things, I guess they want to eliminate, they want to boil it down to like their top 3 priorities of what the goals should be for that executive committee.
Okay, and if I remember from the email thread, this would be kept confidential. It's just kind of an anonymous thing. We are all going to write down what we think are the.
Yeah, and I think they're just going to eliminate,
Oh,
yeah.
there we go.
okay.
Take the floor, Bruce.
All right, so what we talked about was not necessarily what the executive committee would do, but what this committee would do. We talked a little bit about history and that this is more of a group that guides elected officials in some respects. There's lots of things that are going on that we should be receiving comment from public and other interested parties in the community. And we come here and we hear a lot of great things about reports. And frankly, the way I look at stuff, I don't necessarily read it. I know it's provided to me in a written form, but coming here, I listen to it and that's great, but we should have a function that's greater than that. Just listening to what everybody's doing is, like I said, it's wonderful, but we should be tackling some problems. We talked about asking the participants here, what problems do you think we should address? Meaning this body, not the executive body. And how to go about it. One example is, I think we all kind of agreed that the medical assisted treatment in the jail here was something that was started working on, but then because of the grant money, it kind of fell through. But that doesn't mean that we should just go, nope, oh, well, we're done. So I think everybody said, well, that's kind of a good example of what we should be working on. So that's what the 3 pieces of paper were. We think that, or I guess we talked about that, using collective, anonymous, whatever, might be the easiest way to get a valid recommendation of what we should go after and try and tackle. 25 brains are better than 1. So we figured if we just gave you a blank slip of paper and some time to think about it, maybe we could come up with ideas, including a medical assisted treatment in the jail. I mean, we still shouldn't abandon that one. So I'm not trying to get you to write that down. I'm just saying that was kind
Are
of.
you lobbying?
We just talked about there's so many directions and for this committee to actually be more of a working action type committee versus just receiving information all the time. If we could have collectively look at all the different things and if people could do 1, 2, 3, priorities, then maybe we could pick everybody may agree that, like Bruce said, medically assisted may be the number one, but maybe it's number 10 too, so that we could focus, on, at least 1, 2, maybe 3 objectives of this committee as a whole, right? So.
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah.
Sorry, I hit that. What's on? When Julia and I went to that training, we found out that we are supposed to have some type of strategic plan. And that's why that executive committee was formed, so that we could try to help this committee, this body, develop a strategic plan.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
that's kind of where we're going.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate all of you filling us in and giving us some more information and background on that. I think it's a great idea. It's a good way to get the discussion going, and it's also a good way to kind of see what's on the forefront of everybody's kind of issue list, and we can kind of go through that, because I agree, we should be not just receiving the information, but doing something about it once we've got it. And I think that's a great way to do it. So Bruce, will you be collecting these? Okay. Okay, great. Well, we will work on those while we go along here. Did anybody want to, while we're on the topic, throw out some things that we think should be included, or do we just want to wait and leave it as the paper? That says the person who just lobbied for medical treatment in the jail. Because that's going to be on everyone's now, just so you know. But that's great. I think that is an important thing, so that's perfect. All right, well, we can go ahead and move on to the resolutions. I'm sorry, I had it as number 12 in my agenda, and maybe I just printed out the earlier version of it and not the newer version, so I apologize for that. Okay, so the first resolution that we have up for discussion is the request to reinstate building bridges.
I'll just talk briefly about both of these.
Okay.
So at the last meeting, a recommendation was made to do resolutions for these, to reinstate these 2 grants that were lost due to federal funding cuts. And so I did write these up. They're in the packet if you would like to look through them. Really didn't have anything to go on. Nobody had done them like any other counties. So I kind of just took the data of what we were planning on doing, the amounts we lost and the date, and wrote up resolutions that way. So take a look, and if they're okay, we'll make a motion to bring those to the full board then.
Did anybody want to ask questions or have more discussion about each of these individual? Well, yeah, should we have some discussion? Yeah. Where do you see it, Judge Smith? Okay.
It is medications for opioid use disorder.
Oh,
Medications for opioid use disorder. All right.
that's a good idea.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution to request the reinstatement of the building bridges funding.
With Judge Smith's recommendations,
With the recommended change?
Can
Okay.
this be inserted before this?
Oh, yes,
So we all.
because that should be on every. Yeah.
Yeah.
and I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the request to reinstate the building bridges and send that along to the board with the change requested by Judge Smith from Mr. Hellwig, second by Mr. Spitzky. Let's see. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Right.
Any opposed?
Can you please restate
Oh, I'm
what she said? Because I couldn't hear it at all here. So you want to spell out the acronym MOUD?
to put what that stands for.
Like where you got something program and then action.
Yeah.
In the same thing.
Medications for opioid
Opioid use
use
disorder.
disorder. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for asking for that clarification. We want to make sure we get that correct. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. On the Institute of Intergovernmental Research, Reaching Rural Funding. Wow. I think I
That's a
actually said that correctly though,
You did.
did I? Nailed it. All right. Everybody else has to say it now? No? Okay. Do we have any discussion questions, anything about this one?
Well, then I'll try this. I will make a motion to approve the resolution requesting the reinstatement of the Institute of Intergovernmental Research Reaching Rural Funding.
Yeah.
And I'll second his motion.
You got it. All right, so we had Mr. Hellwig with the motion, a second from Mr. Spitzky here. You guys are really monopolizing the motions, by the way. I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry, but I wanted to try that, but
All right, let's see. All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Can I ask a question related
Yes.
to this? So I mean, these are some pretty big gaps that are going to be created in the county budget.
Mhm.
So has the county board or anybody discussed how these gaps are going to be filled, or are the programs just simply going to be cut? What's the plan at this point?
These were going to be additions, supplements to our existing programming. We have not done anything with either one yet because the funding, we didn't have the funding. It was cut before anything was sent out or confirmation. So it was proposed expansion, nothing we'd have to reduce. But we won't have these things in all likelihood
Okay,
without the funding.
right.
Has the county board addressed or thought about ways to get additional funding? Even if it's through increased revenues through tax collection or whatever, to fill the gaps that are going to be lacking? I mean, this is going to be a problem everywhere because as these funds are taken away, there's going to be these gaps that are being created, not just with this program, but with other programs. And so I don't know if that's been a topic yet, or,
This
I
one,
mean, I know the budget's coming up pretty soon.
It is,
So
yeah.
now's the time.
this
to be
one is
talking
really
about it.
fresh. So no, this has not been discussed.
Is there a mechanism with the funding where there are, backup pools to pull things from? No?
No.
Okay.
is there still funding in the opioid fund?
There is. These are pretty big pots of money that
Mm-hmm.
if we used up the opioid money, it wouldn't sustain it for very long.
Mm.
Our goal is to have a sustained program, and this was going to supplement that. So we'll have to take a look at other avenues.
Because this, after reading this a couple of times now, it does seem like an important issue.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want to just let it go to the side.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, and I'm just gonna kind of piggyback off of what Kath was saying is this is gonna continue to be an issue. I think we're gonna just have more and more things that are gonna need to be made up for, and how do we prioritize? How do we figure that out? I mean, really, that's kind of their problem, but we can assist and give information and feedback and, discussion from all of our perspectives, and I think that's probably appreciated.
Yeah.
But tough. It's gonna be tough.
I guess with the budget coming up, now is the time to get the public on board that, hey, I'm willing to pay an extra $200 in property taxes, or I'm willing to whatever in order to continue some of these programs that we've got data now that shows are being successful, that are saving money on the back end, that are saving money in the jail, you know?
Right.
And so somehow now's the time before the budget, I mean, the budget just gets done and blah, 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 we go along, you know. But before we get to that step, you know, or maybe you look at putting extra $300,000 in the budget for these type of programs that we're gonna lose money, and then somehow, I don't know how, but I mean, you're the whiz, so but anyway, I just don't want it to slip under the table and silently go away, right? I mean, that's.
Yeah. Yeah, and one of the things that, you know, coming into this job that I noticed was so different from the job that I had come from is that the tribe has a grants department, right? We have an entire department that is dedicated to writing grants, looking for grants, researching grants, and it helps each of the offshoots of the tribe. So each of the tribal entities, if you have something that you have a need for, you submit that to the grants department, and the grants department then goes and looks for grants for those needs. If you want to find a grant on your own, you ask the grants department for assistance, and they have people who will help write it with you and help research it with you, and they, create teams around each individual need. And I mean, I know that the tribe has the benefit of having access to additional grants that the county would not have, qualification for. But that doesn't mean that there are not an abundance of sources out there that we can be searching for. I think one of the things that if the county had, and when I asked this question, I think at the first CJCC meeting that I attended, was, well, where's the grants department? There is none. I said, well, who writes your grants? And they said, I think the response was, well, if somebody wants to write for a grant, then they can write it themselves and figure out how to write it themselves. And there's the UW extension that can help. And I was like, oh, well, okay. I think that that's something that's lacking and something that could be helpful for the entire county, because I saw the benefit that it has with the tribe. I think that you wouldn't have to employ an entire department, but you could employ maybe a full-time person that, their whole job is to look for grants or to, take the requests or the needs lists of each of the county departments and, keep a running search for what's out there, what's available, what's being proposed by, whichever entity, and write for it.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off you again too, because if you can get grants in other areas where there's still money available and frees up money, I'm just looking right now, because I wrote one of these, it's a STP transportation grant, okay? And the period's gonna open up. Now, if this is something the county could get $1 million or $1.5 million to do some road upgrades, that would free up additional money then to be used other places. And that gets back to being, it shouldn't be put on the department heads to have to try to write these kind of grants. If you had even, I don't know what the answer is, but that might be money well spent, because it's not just with the opioid stuff. There's road grants, there's bridges. I mean, there's just.
Every department
There's
that we
a ton of
have,
stuff,
there
right.
are things available
Right.
for
Yeah.
it. We
I
just
mean,
have
this
to
is
go
one the
looking.
county should be writing right now. I mean, that's one example.
And there are also discretionary grants too. You can write for discretionary funding. And when I was with the tribe, we successfully got 2 of those during the time that I was there for child support, and we were able to get 2 discretionary grants. And those are great, because you can use that money for whatever you think fits that purpose. Yep.
So those would be.
Yeah.
They're
Yep.
But, right, that's just one example, another example of what.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wrote it down on one of my sheets, so it's not quite anonymous, but a grants department or an assistant or somebody who's employed with the purpose of, finding and writing and helping with grants. I think that that would be a huge benefit to the county. And also, I know that the tribe, their grants department is, of course, monopolized by taking care of the tribal entities, and they're very busy, but they're also not averse to helping, especially if there are things that are benefits for the entire community, tribal as well as county. So it's a resource. And I think that, it's not going to be an immediate kind of fix to these issues, unfortunately, but helps with some of those ideas.
Update. I think fits right now because we're talking about the opioids and all that.
Yeah.
But last night, it was a grant-funded program. It's a Gawi Nebo Bimadizibian. Mino Bimadiz. They say it differently, but then I know it. But anyway, what it means is living the good life.
Yeah.
And so it's an organization that is for substance prevention. And the first time they had this event was earlier this year, and there were like 200 people there. Last night, there were maybe 60. And it's just promote sobriety. And so Dr. Tina Steck was kind of a guest speaker last night, and she used to work for LCO for about 3 years, and she actually is an addiction specialist. And so she just talked about the different types of the difference between opioids and opioids, and why people should, just refer to the opioids and kind of a general cover, and then what it does to your brain and how people get sucked into it. And then they had some other speakers. It was very interesting. So I think that Dottie Crust, she said she wishes that she would have gotten the brochures out sooner. And maybe that's why we didn't have such a good turnout, but the next time they have it, I can bring the brochure here. If anybody's interested, it's open to the public, and they do have some good speakers. And I just went because I like to promote the community members who are working on their sobriety. And we have the Healing to Wellness Court, and then we're going to be posting for a caseworker very soon for the Juvenile Healing to Wellness Court. And those are all grant funded, so we're really excited about that initiative.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love the Juvenile Healing to Wellness Court idea.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I can't pronounce the Ojibwe very well.
Oh, that's okay. I embarrass myself with that all the time as well. So I would, kind of going off of that, another idea that I talked about the last time I was here when we were talking about the committees was some kind of central, sorry, I'm terrible with words sometimes. Some sort of central media, informational something. You were saying that it might have benefited to have that brochure out earlier so more people were aware, more people could have attended. I think that, we hear so much in this group about different things that are going on. And maybe that goes back to what was in that Justice Point report. We hear in this group so many things about what's going on in the community, the different surveys, the different outreach programs, the different, sober events, community activities. And I think that if we could have that information not just submitted to us, but also have a way to put that information that comes to us out to the public, that would be a good, even just like a page or a, web link or something. This is what's coming up. I mean, look at the billboards that were done. Those are fantastic. If we could have something that would put out more information that we get to people, be helpful.
See if on these billboards, if there was a website, but there are not. So maybe that's something to make sure is on them in the future.
Yeah, I like that. Almost like like our own kind of brochure or something, but I can't think of an idea, but it'll come to me probably in the middle of the night when I'm trying to sleep. Okay. Let's see. We were talking about the resolutions. We finished with those. So these now are going to be sent to, with that one correction, are going to be sent to the board. Okay. So do we need to do the signatures today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got this one.
Okay.
I can go grab it.
Yeah, great. Okay. While he's doing that, we've just got a couple other items left. Outside committee updates. Anyone from have anything to bring to this committee with anything from outside committees? Okay. Hearing nothing, correspondence reports from conferences and meetings.
Maybe that's when I should have spoke up.
Well, hey, that fits though. It's perfect. Okay. All right, future agenda items. Let's see. I don't, Judge Smith, you know better than I, 15 days after the election would be beginning of July, so probably they're not gonna talk about the MOU with the new TGB until,
I forgot about that. I was talking to the chairman yesterday.
yeah.
Because I just needed to get my leave approved because
Right, yep.
that's happening in my life. But anyway, and I didn't think about it, so I'll try to reach out to him today to
Okay.
see if they can get that moving.
Yeah, maybe we
Keep
should,
it on the agenda.
okay, put it on the agenda, but maybe more as discussion for next time because there is an election 13th.
21st.
I wasn't even close. 21st. And then there's a new board that will be sat. It has to be within 15 days of that.
In 15 days, which takes us to July 6th, so it'll probably.
So they
be-
probably won't do any business or discussion until after that.
I don't know.
Is it on?
if it's
Okay.
Necessary, but.
Okay, so probably the MOU is more for our August. Okay, okay.
Yeah, we can keep it on the agenda.
Thank you. Oh, okay.
I often.
I think I'm perfect. Thank you so much. All right, then I think that wraps up our agenda today and we are adjourned. Thank you all so much for your time today. Appreciate it as always.